afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. We just finished the holiday of Shavuot, where we celebrated 3 days in a row, Shabbat and then Shavuot, in temple, in shul, commemorating 3,334 years since God gave the Jewish people the Torah. And it was a beautiful weekend and a beautiful holiday. We had so many people in shul. And on Sunday morning, at services, we read the Ten Commandments that are in the book of Exodus and Jethro. And tradition is that everyone stands and faces the Torah. We have a tradition that we call the children to stand right near the Torah. Because the Midrash says that when God gave the Jewish people the Torah, He wanted a guarantor. What's the guarantee that you're going to keep the Torah? So they said, we'll give you our elders. God says, but they won't be around. And they said, we'll give you our judges. And God says, that's not enough, because they also won't be around forever. So the Jewish people said, we'll give you the children. God said, the children are the best guarantors, because when we teach the children, we guarantee that the Torah continues and lives on. And that's been the Jewish way and the tradition ever since. And Sunday morning sitting in shul was so powerful, because we had about nearly 100 children in shul. We gathered them all around the bima. Of course, afterwards we gave them ice cream. But before then, they stood there and they listened to the Torah reader read the Ten Commandments. And everyone rose and stood and faced the Torah as if God was giving us the Torah again. Because tradition tells us that every year God renews the Torah with us and gives it to us again. Torah is the greatest gift the Jewish people have had. It's our wisdom, it's our morality. It's the greatness of who we are. There's a tradition, I'm not sure if you know, but there's something called the Babylon Talmud, which is a Talmudic discussion of the rabbis from the time about right by the end and after this temple's destruction, the second temple. And it encompasses 72 tractates. And there's a tradition that people all over the world, hundreds of thousands of people, every day they study one of these pages. It's called a daf. And over 2,700 days, which is about 7 years, they finish the entire cycle and they study the entire Talmud. And it's deep and it's thoughtful and it has all the insights of the Torah and the rabbis. And then they make a big celebration. Now, ironically, when they finish, the way in Judaism is you make a celebration, but then you begin again. And you start the same cycle again. Because every time we learn the gift of Torah, we get more depth, more insight into God's wisdom and into the way and the people we should be and become better people. And therefore we don't say, oh, I already did that. But we do it again. And at the last one, they did it at Madison Square Gardens. And there was a fascinating, moving story that was shared there that I would like to share with you to teach you the power of the Jewish people and the Torah and our embracing of it. It was 1953. It was Jerusalem, Israel. And Reb Chaim, one of the greatest Torah scholars, was walking home. He had finished giving the last class, the last of the 2,700 pages of the Talmud that everyone was studying in this 7-year cycle. And the next day he was going to make the siyum. He was going to make the grand finale in a public space where everyone would listen as they finished the last part. And as he's walking in the streets, this man, Reb Yankel, stops him. Reb Yankel was a simple Jew who worked on Hillel Street in Jerusalem. And Reb Yankel turns to him and says, Reb Chaim, can I make a siyum with you? He says, you see, my name is Yankel, and I was born in 1930 to Reb Shloime and Gittel in the city of Shadik in Poland. Now, my parents' greatest dream was that I should be a Torah scholar, that I should be able to study Talmud and understand it and embrace it and love it. But I wasn't able to study. It was too hard for me. And as much as my parents tried and sent me to yeshiva, it didn't work. One evening I came home, and my father took out a red handkerchief. And he took out the red handkerchief and he opened it up. And he called me over and he showed me a gold coin. Imagine what a gold coin was back then and how valuable it was to me. And he said to me, you know, if you learn one of the pages, of the 2,700 pages of the Talmud by heart, I will reward you with this gold coin. That night I went to sleep and I couldn't stop but dream and imagine of getting this gold coin. And the next day when I woke up, I knew what I had to do. I went to school And I started in the tractate of Baba Kama, learning the daf of Hakones, the first page of the chapter of Hakones. And I studied 2 lines thoroughly, and I came home, my father tested me. And the next day I studied 2 more, and he tested me. And this went on and on until I finished the entire page. I knew the entire page of Hakones. But then the bells of the wars broke out. And Poland was under attack by the Nazis. And I was sent on the train to Buchenwald. And on the train to Buchenwald, when I yearned so badly to be with my parents, I missed my mother and father, Reb Shlomo and Gittel, so much, I kept on studying this page I knew by heart. And when I was in the concentration camp in Buchenwald, every day I studied and remembered this page that I studied. And it connected me to my parents, to the love I had for them. The war was over and I immigrated to Israel. And I hoped to study more. And I tried to study another page, in another chapter, or in the same chapter, but my head couldn't grasp it. So what did I do? Every single day, I study and I repeat this one page of the Talmud that I know in Hakones, until I became known as Yankel Hakones, Yankel, the one who knows Hakones. So he looks at Reb Chaim, this great scholar, and he says, Reb Chaim, tell me, you see, I also have been learning 1 page of the Talmud every single day for 2,700 days. But it's been the same page. I finished 2,700 days of learning, but I finished the same page. So can I make a siyum with you who finished the entire Talmud? Reb Chaim looks at him, moved to tears, and he says, my dear friend, how about we switch? I'll do yours and you'll do mine. Because I might have completed the entire Talmud, but you have completed the entire Jewish people. And it's because of your faith and your study that the Jewish people endures. And because of your faith and your study that the Jewish people will be redeemed from their suffering and exiles. My friends, there is no greater thing than to embrace the Torah. We live in a world where it's so easy to get online, to find a live daily class, text-based, or video in every language, on every topic. Make a resolution this year as you finish Shavuot to strengthen your study of the Torah and to connect greater with the greatest gift that God gave us. God bless you. Have a great day.